So right now we've just finished our second meeting of build season. We're finalizing our design, so we're working on something for how to get our power cubes into the scale. So we ended up coming down to two designs. One, a 3-joint arm, which we had a model of out. It's over there. We can't get to it right now. And the other would be an elevator. So for the elevator, we're thinking of something that extends up and sort of carries the power cubes up, similar to an escalator, but not exactly the same. We don't really have a fleshed out design for that yet. Something like the arm would be something more traditional, like a 3-point or a 3-joint robotic arm. We're thinking that we'll probably have some sort of grabber on the end. We split the two groups and we're waiting for each group to come back with a sketched out design, and then we're going to come back and debate over the pros and cons of each design. This is just some other scratch work we've got here. This was one of the other designs that we were thinking about doing, picking up with wheels, but we ended up forgoing that just because we thought it would be a little too finicky to build.
The chair recognizes Max Redfern for a 2-minute opening statement. You have to state your name and delegation before you speak.
Mr. Chair.
Are you presenting?
Oh, I'm presenting the chair. Okay. And you have to yield your time to the chair.
So we talked about doing an arm design, and from our discoveries, we figured out you have to have two joints for it to fit in the 16-inch constraint, or you have. This is what we used to figure it out. So either we have to have it be 2 joints like this, or we can have it slide so it starts out really low, and then as it comes up, it comes in to fit in this size, and then comes back up to get the full height. So I guess the thing that we talked about was also possible. Okay, we already said we're not going to do a climber, but if it's something we want to do design later, having it slide in and out. When we come up, we can slide in, hook it, and then pull back in. If that's something we want to look at later.
The chair recognizes Delegate Ethan for a 2-minute opening statement.
So, in order to extend the different bars out that would hold the grasping mechanism, we are going to have a pulley system, kind of like chain or rope, cable, whatever. There'd be a motor here around that would wind it up and it would hold this entire system up. So we'd have to make a little sliding mechanism on each one of these little bars for the next one to slide up. This little bar would have to slide up to the top, and then this one, which actually holds the mechanism, can slide to the top up here then also. Goes up like that. And then that would get us up to the height we need. The little intake mechanism would require something to push it out though, because it cannot start outside of the frame of the robot. However, back on the little lifting mechanism, it could be kind of complex since it requires multiple little pulley systems on these bars. Each one has to have a connection to the motor back here, but it can all be run through one chain alone, so it'll be one pulley system technically. I guess this doesn't really work with a climbing mechanism, although you could reverse it. I don't understand how that works, honestly.
You run another cable
in the opposite
the
direction.
opposite ends, and you can pull it back down.
Assuming we had something strong enough to do that, if we reverse the pulley, it would be pulling the robot up instead of the little intake mechanism to the top. So, I guess that's about as simple as it could be.
And for the intake system, the arm would pop out, and then there would be wheels or grips that would pull the box in before it is lifted by the elevator.
So we have one thing
system.
You need a gripper.
So are there any questions?
Okay.
No, I'm just curious, when you said on your first one you would have to drop it down?
Oh, this is bigger. So it's the little arms that would...
The gripper.
Yes, because they can't extend outside the perimeter.
But it can extend out to 16 inches?
Yes.
So you
After
could...
the start.
It can't start outside.
Oh, that's
can't
right,
start.
after the start. Okay, I forgot, but that's just a matter of the drop.
Yeah, it doesn't actually need to be able to move, it just needs to come down
Drop.
once and that's it.
Okay, that's right, it is after the start. My bad, I was thinking when you start with
So we could even just have a little latch.
So would you put 4 linear lifts one on each kind of corner of the robot, or just two in the front? I know FTC uses what it looks like that a lot.
Okay, so before we vote, sorry, you're done speaking.
But they're used a lot, and they just take like one by one, not what the one by one we use, but the stuff with like T-track in it, and then you can buy like Delrin or plastic sliders that then fit. It's different from that stuff.
Similar concept.
Okay, so before we vote, another general consensus. Raise your hand if you prefer this elevator system.
Well, I think one question I want to ask too is programmer-wise.
Yeah,
Is there one, I mean, either one overly difficult?
yeah, so I can take that. I did say for them to run the design by me, and that never really happened. I think, and I don't really understand this design that much, which I think is kind of representative of how, of why not that many people support it compared to the ARM. I think it is pretty complex. I don't know about programming. I think for the ARM, the main, one second. I think for the ARM, the main difficulty is going to be the distances that the motors will need to move, but that can be pretty easily solved with like encoded motors like servos or, you know, some equivalent thing. I'm not an electronics guy.
Control this does one motor. You turn it one way, it goes up, you turn it the other way, it goes down.
But
You
isn't
probably
there?
maybe need some limits. But
Yeah, I'm more concerned with how the limit switches that, but also how it extends, controlling that if we want to do this in autonomous, there's that kind of thing. And I do think it's a bit less practical than the ARM, both to build, use, and program.
And I think programming.
But programming might be easier for this.
I'm gonna speak on the side of build, and I guess we just have to buy a ton of like, the extrusions and get the right sliders. But I think, to lift the robot, I don't think we'll be able to get the strength we need through the extrusions. But I just think it's gonna be complex. But if we design it right, it could work.
Okay,
My main concern with programming was mostly just that the amount of rope we're taking and the speed the motor would run at. That all need to be a little more fine-tuned, which it would need to be for the ARM as well. So they're more or less equivalent in that sense. But I also do sort of prefer the ARM because I believe it's more practical.
The ARM, you're gonna have at least 2 axes.
Yeah, you're gonna have.
Slider. And then plus whatever's on the gripper. The grippers are the same.
The grippers, yeah, the grippers are going to be mostly the same.
anybody have any more comments?
Is voting really? I think we should go back to the shop and write on that pros and cons sheet and write.
Yeah, the pros and cons is better than voting right now.
Okay, pros and cons of the ARM.
Well, pros, it's definitely, probably easier to CAD.
Yeah, pros is that it's overall simpler, like not even for CAD, it's probably easier for build, it's a
just write
marginally
simpler.
easier for programming. It's simpler.
I'm sorry, I don't actually understand how it's simpler for programming.
Okay, elevators are gonna be. Oh wait,
The elevator has one.
I thought we were talking about.
No.
Alright,
The elevator
Okay.
and arm have about the same amount of moving parts.
Okay.
Yeah, the elevator has one motor. Well,
The
one
elevator has one motor, but it has a ton of linear
It
rails.
has a ton of. It has
So many of
okay.
these rails.
Okay,
So
put a con on here is if any
hard to
cable
catch.
or anything falls off, the whole thing doesn't work.
Yeah, and it's
So,
not repairable with
correct.
zip ties, which is an important quality.
So, right,
But neither is
fragile,
the arm,
fragile.
low key,
Yeah.
the arm,
It kind of is though.
okay.
Okay, other inputs.
And then elevator con is it's hard to CAD.
That's not a.
It's not gonna be quite easy.
That's okay, but that's
Both
not
can
a
be
con
James,
because
hard to
No, it
it's
isn't.
built-
Okay, it's
built
gonna be about the
function
same difficulty as the arm.
No.
If you,
Okay.
Actually,
sorry.
no, the arm is probably gonna be.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, the arm is okay.
The arm's gonna have a
Separate.
lot more parts.
The arm's just gonna be like cut out, punched aluminum.
It's literally just gonna be a ton of 1x2 with holes in it and axles going bang.
I'm trying to kill people with that 1x2.
Nobody
I'm
gets
trying
the
to
one
touch it
by
so it stops vibrating.
Okay, we need other inputs. Jack.
I don't care. Pick whichever one's gonna work both best for both of them. I mean, they both have very good strengths and they both have very good cons. It just depends on
what the team thinks they can do easiest.
Well, we need to identify what the flaws are and such.
Yeah, I know, I said they both have roughly the same amount.
I guess put on arm as a con is that it might have more motors.
The arm has more motors, the elevator has more moving parts.
Okay, we need your pros and cons of each.
So why did you say fragile and strong on arm?
We talked about it, if one part comes
Like if
loose
one
on there.
part
The
comes
cables,
loose.
the rails, they're all difficult.
Small
harder
parts.
to repair at competition.
Well, actually, gotta get him.
Be careful. I'm trying to step on it so it stops. They're harder to repair with the stuff we have at competition. That's all you. I think that was what they're going for with fragile. I don't know what specific means. That's beyond me.
A lot of specific parts that have to work together in
That's
specific
true.
ways.
And more stuff that we'd have to order. I
Yeah,
think.
we'd have to order a ton of extrusions.
I honestly see the elevator as a pro, simple build. And
Where? Where?
I think it's a simple build.
Cause we just
Not
have
in CAD.
we just have to buy the parts. You said I guess yeah. I guess it's a
You
simple
don't
build
get
in the
the
fact
right
that we just have to
complaint
buy the
about how difficult
extrusions
stuff
and
is.
bolt everything together.
And honestly,
Honestly, it's not.
Also,
I'll talk to you about
it's
it.
really a one motor program. I mean, that's why I see two, it's a one motor program. Whereas an arm is 1, 2,
Yeah.
possibly.
This
There's-
is the arm, and this
what-
has just been.
So one of the issues with the arm, you have to coordinate the programming,
Yeah.
or you'll go out of bounds and be disqualified.
How do they know that we're gonna be 16? Like, I guess it
You
just
have
like
to show it.
That's the thing.
oh yeah. I
mean,
guess
unless
in-
you want to go
it's-
full on Boston Dynamics mode and make sure that we can always like account for the location of the head, that's going to be tricky.
we should do a 3D laser tracking of the arm around the robot.
You're gonna hit something with that. So, I think Dan does, because the more that I think about the arm, I mean, we're gonna be controlling it in teleop as well, which is a big, like, it's easy enough to coordinate things and script them, even if it is like tedious, you can do it. In teleop, it's going to be more difficult. We might want to have like a second stick just for controlling the arm, which is viable, but it's viable, but it would be more difficult
I
to
feel like
program.
we've overcomplicated the arm, but
I think too, is the fact with that arm, and granted, I really do like the arm idea,
Because
up
I-
until we really started looking at it and stuff like that, and seeing all the components that go into it. And when you start doing that, again, like Stevie was saying, you start the program, and I start moving that arm up, and that arm goes like this, and if I'm not retracting enough, you know, all of a sudden I'm overextending or whatever like that, maybe I don't know how they're gonna look at it in the game. Maybe they're just gonna say, hey, that looked,
It ends up being a ref's judgment
Yeah.
whether you went over or not.
that looked like, it's just like the NFL, you know, the catch rule in the end zone. It wasn't a catch, it wasn't a catch, you know, that's.
The elevator doesn't have that question. It can't go out beyond the 16.
Yeah, but the elevator is not nearly as maneuverable.
So the
If
arm
you want to
has
like put stuff over,
possibility
the arm
of
can sort of go a bit farther
disqualification.
over. So the arm does have that advantage. Of, it is an arm; it has that dexterity.
That's true, the arm is more.
so I guess the other
Yeah,
thing
the
is
arm is an arm that gives it inherent advantages.
I guess the elevator is only a linear lift. So was the idea to have like just a pneumatic cylinder that pushed it out once it gets to top, or a motor or something push it out?
Lift it high enough and drop it.
All
One thing I've noticed when we're discussing it, it seems like the elevator might be a little more consistent, but a lot slower, and the arm would be more of a
that's
fast
yeah.
way of doing it.
That's
Maybe a
my
little
issue.
bit less consistent, but
I would
certain things like we could get
prefer-
disqualified or
I'd be
penalized.
prefer consistency over efficiency.
I mean, that's kind of what the entire low boiler, high boiler thing was.
Right.
Like a 6
And
out of
that's,
10
Yeah,
and
I mean, and people took the high boiler that worked out better. Now it's a bit different here because scale and switch are the same point value, but I mean, I think it is about consistency to some extent, but I think as long as we can train ourselves with the arm, then we should be fine.
that means we should probably have a drive day if we're going to do it.
Okay, drive day, don't even get me started. We'll try
That's
it.
a
may not
discussion
happen.
for later.
Yeah, drive day is so off topic. Does anyone have anything else to add to this list? Right here,
Is
like
voting
anything that
really
you
the
see that's
best?
like,
Look
Okay.
at those slides.
Is there anything that you see and you're like, there is something missing from this list? I'm sorry, just.
Oh, why? Never mind.
Alright.
Both seem like
Does
they'd be.
anyone think that we could, like, maybe, like, okay, because the weight capacity is 120, do you think we'd ever go over that with the elevator? Okay.
I mean, that's a good point. There is definitely more mass on the elevator, but I don't think that's a concern.
I don't know.
There's
No.
marginally more mass on the
I
elevator.
don't know.
If we
It's
use
the same
them,
amount of
Yeah, it
aluminum.
should be fine.
Not the same amount, but I do feel like the
My,
linear rails
my
would add
biggest
some more.
concern with the elevator is the amount of moving parts with a linear lift.
Yeah.
Because all that string, each joint has a pulley.
Yeah.
There's all those linear sliders inside of the extrusions.
Alright. So that's a good point. Anyone else? Thought there was a hand, but it's just that another hat. Arms up if you're in favor of the arm.
Arms for arm.
Arm and elevator.
That's
Just the arm now.
alright. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, no, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Am I missing anyone? 10, 11. I didn't see you. I'm sorry. Alright, that is 11 for arm.
Good. Now raise your hand for elevator.
Alright, elevator. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright.
Just take my hand out, I'm not holding. So 5.
5. Oh. 6. No, we're at 5. Hold on. Alright. So that is 11 in favor of arm, 5 in favor of elevator.
And that's it. I couldn't really figure out a way to end this first episode. This first episode. Hopefully I will have some kind of a plan for an outro for the next few episodes. But yeah, that's the current state here. So yeah, I mean you got the details and descriptions of the arm and the elevator, the vote for it, and you got the pros and the cons. So that was out of order the way I said it. Nice job, me. Subscribe, like, dislike if you didn't like this. I don't know why, but I mean, hey, if it makes you feel any better, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. So you can go ahead and do that thing. You can leave a comment about which one you like better, arm or elevator. So yeah, bye.